Let's bring in Ken Hinds, a knife crime and stop and search campaigner, joins me now. Ken, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Look, we have so many societal problems, perhaps, as we channel our sort of inner horror at what's happened. Prime Minister rejecting whole life term over Southport. I just wonder whether you agree or whether you don't, that I don't really mind what age you are. If you perpetrate a crime such as this, there should be no limit to the punishment that you can be given.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to send my deepest condolences out to the families affected by this horrendous act of savagery, and also the community, and that's definitely been affected by it.
Of course.
Now, my thing is simply this: is that a 16-year-old in 1985 is completely different to a 16-year-old in today's time. The savagery that some of these young people are now conducting needs to be looked at in the same vein as an adult, as far as I'm concerned.
So does that mean that when the Prime Minister rejecting a whole life term over this particular crime, just saying it's not appropriate, we should be treating those under the age of 18 with different rules, you would say that's sending the wrong message?
Absolutely. Because, murder is murder and savagery is savagery. And regardless what age I believe you are, you need to be held accountable for your action. Things are getting from bad to worse. Young people have got so much rights, but what we don't teach them is the accountability and responsibility that goes with those rights that they have acquired. And as a response, they now do as they please. I'm thinking that they can do it without any kind of consequence.
And is that because we have lost either respect for the rule of law in this country, or that law and order has, because they are funded less or perhaps less present on our streets? I mean, I've been complaining for last 20 years about the proliferation of CCTV. Yeah, I see its benefits, I see its ability to help in criminal convictions, but ultimately there is no alternative but for visual presence of police on our streets. I think we have to stop being so worried about targeting different age groups of whether it's children or male or female, that it's more likely to be males, it's more likely to be in inner cities, it's more likely to be perhaps children between the ages of 12 and 30 with knives and various things. Target, if the police need to target to rid knives and crime off our streets, then they should be able to do it without criticism.
Now that's where I will beg to differ from what you just said.
Okay.
Because what's happened, what I see on the streets is that there's less respect for the police. There's no respect for the police from young people in today's time. Now,
well, then I think we're in agreement, because I would say that's exactly the problem.
But I will put it down to the way that stop and search has been conducted, because this is where we diverge from that. Because stop and search, I believe that if 8 out of 10 stop and search lead to no further action, but it can lead to a person being stopped and scarred, the consequence, particularly from my community, is that we are less likely to turn to the police if we become a victim of crime.
And I can see that argument. What is the alternative to stop and search that removes knives, particularly, off our streets?
There's not one thing that fits that, but what I would say that's quite prominent is what's happening in the schools. The young people are spending most of their time under the supervision of the schools, and I believe that more needs to be done in schools to recognise what's happening with these young people.
I mean, do you think that, for example, schools, you talk about it, I mean, downstairs at this building, if you don't have a pass, you will be put through security, and it's like airline style security. I no longer see it as targeting or victimization or anything else. It's just like, it's there. We don't know who you are. We want to make sure that everybody's safe in this building. Do we need to do such things at schools and just say, look, everybody, teachers, visitors, pupils, I'm sorry, until or unless we got rid of this horrible scourge, you're all going to be checked and tested?
It's quite clear that these actions ain't taking place in the schools, but it's taking place generally around schools or outside schools. So what the young people would do, they'll find ways of circumventing that sort of security. What we've got to reach out to is get into the mindset of these young people. Now, I'm staggered that when I see the pictures of his bedroom, and to see that where all these weapons and rifles were, what was in the parents' head? Why aren't the parents?
I genuinely, I agree with you 100%. It's just like, how can you not know what your children are up to? I understand that children need to have respect in their private space and all that sort of business, but that doesn't mean that, you know, if something's going wrong, if you can tell if something's going wrong with a relationship between you and a child, if that relationship is wrong, how on earth you can not know that that's going on inside your home? I genuinely don't understand.
Look, and it's quite clear this is a complex case, because for 4 years he was under the supervision of the hospital, and he'd been caught with a knife on the bus. He'd been caught in a knife in schools. It was a car crash waiting to happen, and you can tell me that nobody flagged this up or nobody knew about this. Even his father, who stopped him from doing the mass killing outside, no doubt going to the school. Again, I don't know, where's the support for the family? Because I know, as a mentor, that we get called in to these families. We can't save all the children, but there's success stories that in the ones that we do, who goes on to do more.
I think you make some really powerful points, Ken. Sadly, time is against us and we must leave it there, but thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. That's Ken Hinds, knife crime and stop and search campaigner.